Our team is hearing from people living in New Carlisle. They are raising concerns about water usage as construction continues for two major plants in the area. Many people living there have reported their wells are running dry right now. This as two projects contribute to the removal of large sums of water from the ground. Keep in mind, the new Amazon data center is under construction along with the joint GM and Samsung battery plant. The Indiana Department of Natural Resources, DNR, investigating several wells which have gone dry. They say they are looking into possible causes for the vanishing water, including a drier than usual month of May.
Welcome back, everybody. The state of Indiana has sold out to big tech, and in roughly 1 year's time, we've already begun to see the repercussions of this, the environmental effects that's had all across the state. And in today's video report, I'm going to be talking about that and exposing just how terrible of an issue it is. And unfortunately, it will only get worse if we don't stop it. And so if you could, please leave a like in this video, subscribe if you like what you see. Please follow me on Substack. You can get more of my unfiltered commentaries. And please leave a comment down below so we can have this discussion and get this video out in the algorithm. So let's get into it today. So if you guys may remember, on June 11th of last year, so almost basically 1 year ago, I reported how the former governor right there, Eric Holcomb, my former governor, I'm a Hoosier, reported on this, how Indiana becomes a growing state for big tech data centers and crypto mining, vows the grid can handle it. And I republished a story from Cointelegraph, and you can see him here, Eric Holcomb, looking at the plans here. Large companies like Meta, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, along with the cryptocurrency mining firm AboutBit, have either invested or plan to build their facilities in the state. While Indiana provides financial incentives to organizations, AboutBit and other cryptocurrency miners are not eligible for these state programs. And so you can see a rough map of where they're building some of these places, and there are more to my knowledge as well, and they're trying to get more as we speak, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. Some of them very close to where I live, might I add. In May, Amazon announced plans to invest $11 billion in Indiana, to which Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb said, quote, Amazon wouldn't have made the commitment without the confidence that we can supply both the power and the water, and that's the key thing, is the water, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. In addition, Commerce Secretary David Rosenberg, head of the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, said that the state has, quote, ample amounts of both power and water. AboutBit has transformed a 50-year-old power station into a sustainable liquid-cooled cryptocurrency mining facility. It currently runs next to the Merom generating station in Indiana. As of May, U.S. Bitcoin miners have spent $2.7 billion on electricity in 2024. So again, you can read the rest of that. I'll put that in the link in the description. And just to kind of give you an idea about who Eric Holcomb is, again, he's no longer governor. The new governor is now Mike Braun. But just to kind of give an idea of what Eric Holcomb comes from and what his thinking is, again, reported last year, Indiana and Utah governors say they want sponsored immigration to fill open jobs, as every U.S. state shares a border with the rest of the world. So, repeating the globalist moniker. He was actually a guest at the World Economic Forum in 2022 for what they call the augmented manufacturing experience, where they said an estimated 87% manufacturing companies have accelerated their digitalization over the past year. However, only a few are leveraging technology to ensure they prepare for the future of advanced manufacturing. How can companies and governments scale the use of technologies to augment, empower, and upskill the factory workforce? So again, as I said, he was one of the top speakers. You can watch it here if you're interested, where he talks about this. And of course, he talks about, Indiana's a major hub for manufacturing, and then he talks about, hey, it was bringing more of the immigrants. And so you can see what he's a part of. Okay, he's just one of them. But again, I've talked about this, and it's no hidden secret if you do the research. The green stuff is such a crock. Let's be real. You know, these battery plants that's supposed to be great for the environment. It's going to be to a greener future, and yet we still have to use traditional coal plants and nuclear power and everything else to keep them running. You know, last year Elon Musk announced he was building a massive supercomputer in Tennessee, and for the same problem that we're going to see, these things that draw upon so much energy that they need to have. And which it reads right here, water is another concern. The XAI supercomputer will require constant chilling, including through an evaporative cooling tower system that consumes large quantities of water, stated MLGW. Its facility would require an additional 1 million gallons per day. As I was editing this video, I came across this article that reconfirms what I was saying. Musk's XAI faced legal threat over alleged Colossus data center pollution in Memphis. And After thermal imaging appeared to show that XAI lied about suspected pollution at its Colossus supercomputer data center located near predominantly black communities in Memphis, Tennessee, the NAACP has threatened a lawsuit accusing XAI of violating the Clean Air Act. And so then this whole thing here, they're trying to build the world's largest AI data center. Memphis has potentially introduced the largest source of nitrogen oxides, NOx, reducing air quality in a city already grappling with high rates of emergency room visits and deaths from asthma. In Boxtown, a neighborhood closest to the data center, residents face cancer risk 4 times the national average due to industrial pollution from dozens of industrial facilities, including an oil refinery, a steel mill, and a TVA gas plant. XCI's decision to install and operate dozens of polluting gas turbines without any permits or public oversight is a clear violation of the Clean Air Act, SELC Senior Attorney Patrick Anderson said in a press release. Over the last year, these turbines have pumped out pollution that threatens the health of Memphis families. This notice paves the way for a lawsuit that can hold XAI accountable for its unlawful refusal to get permits for its gas turbines. So you can see the sheer amount of water that this stuff takes. And again, the hypocrisy admitted by mainstream media sources that this massive push for these AI systems, well, now it's actually causing more carbon emissions to go up. Funny. And again, warnings were published in Yahoo. Hey, the more we go to AI, the more energy it's going to consume. And, we're maybe at 1% of where the AI adoption will be in the next 2 or 3 years. The world is actually headed for a really bad energy crisis because of AI unless we fix a few things. At the end of the day, you're going to need these data centers to require a lot more energy as a whole. These things draw so much energy. They're very energy intensive. Energy consumption is going to dramatically increase on a global scale simply because of the energy intensive nature of AI. But don't worry, guys, we're going to a green future. This is perfectly fine. This won't hurt the environment. It's so silly. Net zero doesn't mean you're carbon free potentially. Why? Well, you told us it was. Not him, but that's been the narrative, right? There will be hours of the day where you don't have enough sun or enough wind, but you're still going to be drawing energy straight from the grid at whatever mix the grid will provide to you. So in other words, you're going to have massive power outages, and people are going to be broke, and they're going to make you pay more for it. So yeah, you can fill in the blanks there. You can kind of see what's going on here. Again, these are fairly within my area, give or take. How they're building one of these battery plants for General Motors, and let's kind of go through here. And they're discussing expanding even more. Again, bringing one very close to where I live. And again, you can see the energy thing comes up. This was just reported back in April of this year. A major tech project in St. Joseph County is now at the center of a tug-of-war between the city of Mishawaka and the county's own utility district. Both want control of water and sewer services for a new Microsoft data center. The land in question includes the property where Microsoft wants to build a massive data center, which is currently within a service zone claimed by the county through its Granger subdistrict. So again, very close to where I live. So, but now it's starting to come out that, oh, surprise, surprise, these data centers, these battery factories, are taking up massive amounts of water, and this was published in the South Bend Tribune here. And we'll look at this and what they say here. Again, I'll post a link in the description below if you want to read it yourself. It's a good little article. But it says here, like a number of other residents who've also seen their water falter, she assumes it's because large amounts of water have been removed from the earth to make way for infrastructure and construction of the Amazon data centers and GM Samsung battery plant. So you can see what it was before, and you can see what it is now, and you can see the construction off in the distance. How nice. And of course, it's called dewatering. This is what it's been called, and they have to get permits for this. But don't worry, guys, it'll be fine. Governor Holcomb told me it'd be great. Quote, I feel like there's a racetrack in front of my house, Bode said. It's the peace. I don't have peace anymore. It's wall-to-wall cars on the highway. The Indiana Department of Natural Resources, which has a division of water, is investigating the 3 residential wells that reportedly failed east of New Carlisle. A DNR spokesman confirmed. It is also looking into the 3 other wells that went dry this spring along the shores of Hudson Lake, which is just west of New Carlisle. Bode's sister, Sandy Teska, lives next to them and attests that the wells all went dry, and suddenly and mysteriously, the 3 neighbors all dug new wells. Picture there. And you scroll down here, get into the article. By contrast, Microsoft won't need fresh water to cool its computers at the data center. it plans to build near Jude Creek in Granger because a local consultant recently said it uses a closed-loop system. Farming and the growth of industries have been tapping the new Carlisle area's water for decades. You also know that as the article continues, you also know that the recharging of groundwater is projected to increase in most years under climate change, of course. Over shorter time frames, droughts can impact groundwater levels, and pumping can intensify these impacts, he said. Sustainable groundwater management means being able to weather the droughts without wells going dry. So, of course, we won't blame it. We won't blame the problems on what we're doing. No, it's climate change, guys. That's what it is. It's not because of our massive industrial facade that's destroying the environment. It'll make everything more expensive for everyone else. You're going to poison the water, won't have enough water for drinking, for crops, so on and so forth. But hey, that's okay. It's climate change, guys. It's climate change. And it's your fault. You need to modulate your life so we can have this AI utopia. But here's the crazy part. And they even admit that basically the states, my area and our state, are basically guinea pigs. They don't even know if this is going to work. Says here, quote, when redevelopment commissioner member Mark Volker asked if Amazon was using any of its other projects as a benchmark for how water wells are affected, I don't know if I'm saying that right, this person replied that it's the opposite. Quote, Amazon are using us as the benchmark for how they will benchmark other projects, he said. We're doing a lot of things and learning a lot of things together. So they don't even know. They're going into this blindly. It's insane. They haven't done dewatering to this level, he said. They haven't done construction to this level. So this is kind of a learning lab for them and for us and for contractors on the site. I mean, you can't make this up. In 2024, the town of New Carlisle County and Amazon agreed to limit the town water drawn from 2 water treatment plants the New Carlisle owns to 24 million gallons per day, feeding Amazon and other industrial projects. Officials also said they'd leave the door open to revisit the maximum if the demand for water grew greater than that. Amazon is looking to expand its local footprint. It expects to have completed or at least have started construction on 18 data center shells by the end of 2025. Last year, that's about how many that local officials said to expect. But now, under pressure to meet the demand for AI, Amazon is seeking to build up to 32 data centers. That depends on the fate of the 310 acres east of Bendix-Wilkes County Park. The Indiana Department of Environmental Management is sifting through several public concerns, both written and oral, as it decides whether it will allow Amazon to remove a 9.7 acre wetland and streams for expansion at that site. So you can read the rest of the article for yourself. Absolutely insane. And I, by the way, I've signed petitions against some of this stuff because there was people, because I'm not the only one who saw concern with this in our area, and they said, hey, well, we don't want this stuff here. And so I was many who signed a petition that said, let's get the stuff out of here. And we were able to get some of it moved, but still, the big money won again, and even some of our local politicians, based on the statements I was reading that they were making, sounds like they might have gotten paid off. So it's unfortunate that we're seeing this. The state has sold out the big tech, and it just goes to show you, and I'm warning about everyone here, that this is coming to a state near you and around the world. It is so ridiculous as they continue to preach this fake environmentalism, and we need all this computing, and it just destroys the environment even further. But don't worry, as the things inevitably get worse, as this agenda continues to move forward, then it's your fault, and it's climate change, and you need to modulate your life, and we're going to tell you how it's going to be. It's ridiculous. So please get this out here. Let everyone know about what's going on. This needs to be exposed. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's absurd. So please, if you like what you saw in this video today, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. If you like what you saw here today, please leave a comment down below. Let's start a discussion about this, and let's get this out in the algorithm. Share it with your friends. And of course, please subscribe to my Substack if you want more of my unfiltered commentary, things I cannot say here on this platform. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Take care.